Let's talk to Nancy from San Francisco, listening on KFAX, a wonderful station. Hi, Nancy. Welcome to New Life. Thanks for holding on.
Oh, thank you for taking my call, and I truly believe this is God allowing me to talk to you, so thank you very much.
Well, I hope
and
so.
I apologize for being emotional. My question is a two-parter, and it revolves around what I guess kind of what you talked about in the beginning, opening up, and it's a season, but ours has to do with the change of season of life, and that is my husband, who's 51, and us becoming empty nesters. My husband in the last week has become very emotional of our empty nest syndrome, so to speak. And my two-part question has to do with how to protect our marriage, and that's revolving around somebody who has entered his workplace. That's one of my questions. And then my second question is how to help him, how to help come alongside of him to support him, and what can I do? We're both believers.
All right, so
and,
so the situation is empty nest. You feel like he's more vulnerable to get involved in an affair. Now someone's at work that just might entice him to cross that line?
Yes.
Okay, and has he talked about her? Have you met her? How do you know this could be a problem?
Yeah, he's told me about her. He's told me about this single, she's a single woman with 2 children, younger, who he has been praying for. He has a prayer list. He's been praying for her, never met her children, and he wanted to know if I would invite her and her children over for Thanksgiving. And this was all this past week, and all of a sudden he's wanted to learn a new language, the language that she speaks, and
ouch.
And
yeah. Okay,
and,
hold on. I'm going to go to a break, and when we come back, we'll give you some help. We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Mylon Yerkovich, Dr. Jill Hubbard, and Nancy. And here's a unique situation, but it happens all the time. He is interested in a single woman with children who's younger at work. Now he wants to learn her language, wants to have her and the children over for Thanksgiving. Mylon, Jill, what should she do?
Well, Nancy, first I think that you should be trusting your gut, and that, it's probably too soon to be inviting this woman over for Thanksgiving, if ever. It makes sense that this would be a hard time with your kids leaving. But I guess I'm wondering about the two of you.
Right.
How are the two of you turning to each other during this time?
Well, actually, things, I'll let you know that 20-something years ago, before we married, a similar situation happened, and he did have before we were married, he did have an affair, so to speak, and because of that, he knows that my trust situation and things like this is not there.
Yeah,
and
right.
so because of that, we had an open communication about this, and he said, I've decided not to invite her for Thanksgiving.
Good.
Because the whole idea
Good.
was I wanted her to feel welcome, but I don't think that she'd be welcome. And I said, that's not really how I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear that you didn't want to invite her because of me. Well, we got through all of that, and I truly believe that it's because he loves me, and he said he felt that, I'm the one that the Lord has given him, etc. So that's not going to happen. But today I have an immediate issue in that he is going to meet her at her children's soccer field to pick up a camera that after work, he told me this, that he wants back because she's not working this week.
Yeah, tell him, you know what, you haven't seen soccer practice in a long time.
Okay.
And that you'll go with him.
Okay.
But the other thing, the big answer is you guys need to get yourself into marriage counseling now.
Right.
That is the big issue, is that he is not sensitive to you and your concerns and your needs. He is putting you second place here, and the connection is broken.
Well, he's on a slippery slope, because even if it may feel innocent to him, he is moving in a direction that will only take him away from you.
And I've told him that, and I've said, God doesn't say this in the Bible. He says that you need to find a mentor that's a man. And he agreed with that, and he said, there is somebody, a Christian man at work, that I will, and I agree with you. but I don't feel that it's wrong for me to not have a female friend at work as well.
Okay, well, you know what, Nancy, when you talked about a passage of life and a phase of life, and when my three oldest kids left the house, they all three left within a period of 18 months. I had a major meltdown. It was really hard for me to leave my role as a daddy and all of a sudden have an empty house. And one of the things that we do then is what your husband's doing is he's distracting himself with something else that's exciting. So he's using her, if you will, as a medication, because the adrenaline, the excitement of all of the involvement, loaning her things, loaning her cameras, learning her language, is all a distraction from reality. So I would ask them the question, what are you really feeling with our empty house? What does it feel like to be alone? What does it feel like to be alone with me? And I would get into reality. The second thing is I would really call him on religious defenses. You know, honey, it's really nice that you spiritualize this and say, well, I'm praying for her. She's been on my prayer list, so I'm loaning her things and you're wanting to learn her language. But come on. Come on.
Yep.
These are religious defenses to have an emotional relationship with somebody else.
Honey,
and come on.
Honey, you're saying it's not wrong for you to have a relationship with a female. You're saying, is it a biblical standard of right or wrong? And you're not hearing the fact that it bothers me. Me, I'm your wife. Me being your wife is more important than anything right now, our connection. And it's not a matter of whether or not it's right or wrong. It's a matter of, is it something that brings us closer together or takes us farther apart? And obviously, this is not drawing us together. She is now in our life, and she's causing a problem.
I have a great verse.
Okay.
There's a section in Song of Solomon, Nancy, that talks about the little burrowing foxes in the root system of the vineyard. And so in the Song of Solomon, it talks about, you know, prevent the little foxes from destroying the vineyard. And the way they do it is by gnawing at the roots. You can't even see them. They burrow down deep in, and they start to eat away at the root system, and then all of a sudden, the plant above it dies. And one of the things that most couples really need to do is they need to really call each other on and hold the marriage at an integrity level that they really allow these little tiny foxes that sneak in and eat away at the root system to really be called out, to be flushed out, and to really be addressed.
Hey, let's talk about some other stuff in Song of Solomon.
Yeah.
Later.
Well, okay.
Later time. Go ahead, Jim.
But this distraction could really feel, I mean, he's doing some caretaking. So that can meet an immediate need of his kids are gone, so now he's caretaking this woman.
New nest.
But it's not the same thing.
Yeah. It goes from empty nest to creating another little nest over there, and we don't want to see that. Now, again, I go back to the thing. They need help. They need to get in marriage counseling so somebody can say to him, look what you're doing.
You don't want to minimize this or ignore it, you know, make excuses for it.
No.
Emotional affairs are all over the place. People get distracted because it feels good.
Yep.
It's an intoxicant.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like alcohol,
They're seen
everything else.
differently.
Yeah.
Three criteria for behavior that he is not following. It's known by his wife, yes. It is not approved by his wife.
No, his wife's in
And
tears.
he's not bringing her into it.
And she is not involved in this relationship. You need to, everything needs to be known by, approved, and involving your spouse. And if you stick to that criteria, you're not going to have an emotional affair. Or when you start to, you'll turn away and you'll go back. So they really do need to get some help because he's wandering.
You know, a New Life Weekend sometime in 2011 could really, really help.
Could change it all. I hope that somehow you might say to him, or maybe the counselor even would support you in saying, get away for this weekend and see what it would do. Those weekends are amazing. They bring people like this together. I can almost guarantee you 99% chance they would have a different relationship after the New Life Weekend because you're with other people struggling and you're with a therapist that is a trained professional in this area and knows how to bring very distant people back together. And that's what we love to see.
And
Dr.
you hear
Jill
things
goes.
that you can't hear often from your spouse.
Dr. Jill's there. Mylan goes. We have some of the best therapists around, Christian counselors involved in that. And you can find out about it at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or by going to newlife.com.